Hello everyone, welcome back to Jus de Rose and welcome back to your monthly fragrance news. Every month I post reviews on new fragrances that have launched in that specific month, and I've also created a playlist on my YouTube channel in case you want to check that out so that you're always up to date with fragrance news. For this video, I will be reviewing the new fragrances that came out in the month of October, and I'm going to dive straight into it with fragrance number 1, which is the new limited edition Shalimar Mellisme Tonka by Guerlain. Now, Guerlain have launched a limited edition last year as well, and that one focused on vanilla. It was so good, and I regret to this day not buying it because it sold out immediately and then I couldn't find it anymore. So you best believe that when I saw this go live online, I went onto the Guerlain website, blind bought it immediately, no question asked. This version is enhanced in Tonka bean and also includes a special vanilla tincture. And you're gonna ask me, what is a vanilla tincture? Well, I went on the Guerlain website and had a look, and from what I understand, basically there's been vanilla pods that have been placed in alcohol and macerated over several months, and that has been used in this version of Shalimar. So you can expect this perfume to be really delicious, and it certainly is. I definitely find the original DNA of Shalimar, so if you like the original Shalimar and you also like the note of Tonka bean, you need to run to guerlain.com and buy this fragrance because I'm sure this one will sell out super fast. So it has the legendary DNA of Shalimar, this imposing, bold amber fragrance with spices, with like a light powdery dry down, very beautiful and iconic. So you'll definitely find this, especially in the opening. But as I said, this version is enhanced in Tonka bean, and it has almost like a chocolatey side, a light almond touch. So you can picture this fragrance as being a dark, sticky elixir of chocolate, almond, vanilla, all wrapped up in spices. I will say this right now, it smells so much better in the dry down than in the opening on my skin at least. So I would recommend you wait for the dry down because that is where the magic happens. In terms of performance, it's fantastic. On my skin, it lasts over 8 hours with a moderate projection. This next fragrance I have been highly requested to review because I love the brand, and I know that so many of you love the brand as well. It is the new fragrance from Initio called Paragon. Now this is part of the Hedonist collection, which has all the white bottles. There's Musk Therapy and Rehab, which I love. And now we have Paragon. This perfume is a very calm and relaxing fragrance. It's a very grounding perfume, I would say. You have notes of sage, there's lavender, palo santo, and pepper as well. So it's woody, spicy, and right from the beginning, there's a lot of aromatics. It almost feels as if you are drinking a aromatic herbal tea. And as it dries down, there's a lot of creaminess, I find, and I find a likening to Rehab. The creaminess and the comforting side of Rehab is kind of similar in this fragrance's dry down. I get a parallel between Rehab and Paragon. What's drastically different with this fragrance versus the other ones in that line is actually I get an interesting ripened fruit effect. I'm not sure what fruit this is, maybe plum or something like that, but definitely an overly ripe fruit blended with the woods and spices. In terms of performance on my skin, it is very long lasting, not as much as the other Initio fragrances. I find with Initio, most of the perfumes last like 12 hours plus easy with like a monstrous projection. This one I would say lasts around 8 hours, which to be fair is still all day, and that's really good. The projection is moderate to strong. I would not overspray this fragrance because I think it can be a little bit overbearing otherwise, but I think it is a great addition to the new collection, and yeah, I definitely would recommend getting this fragrance. Next, we have a great new sandalwood fragrance release. It is from Fleur. It is called Somebody Would. Now this perfume immediately made me think of Sandalwood Temple by Sana Jardin, which I love. It's like a creamy, sweet sandalwood. If you like that comforting sweetness and creaminess from sandalwood, this fragrance is gonna be right up your alley. Now, my problem though with Sandalwood Temple is that it doesn't last on the skin at all. It's because it's made of like a lot of naturals, and it's just quite fleeting and it doesn't project a lot either. However, Somebody Would does last and it projects really well too. For me, this is a winner. If I had to choose between Sandalwood Temple and Somebody Would, I would definitely go for Somebody Would. Creamy, sweet sandalwood fragrance, very cozy and cocooning, fantastic for like the colder months. I haven't worn much of it yet because it's still really warm in London right now, but I will definitely be reaching out more for this in like the colder weather, if it's like raining and like, you know, when we're getting into the winter season, I feel like this is going to be a great fragrance to have in your collection. Now, if there's one fragrance that I'm so excited about, and I think this is my favorite launch for the month of October, it is called Ego Stratis by Juliette Has A Gun. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I have been disappointed with this brand's latest launches, and I find that the newer fragrances are not necessarily super long lasting either, which I find is a bit of a shame. So I kind of fell out of love with the brand. But this perfume, I love. It is described as a modern interpretation of a Cologne, and it is fully unisex. So this fragrance opens with like a very big burst of citruses, as with a Cologne, but it's more the citrus pulp as opposed to the zest of a citrus. This sweetness and tanginess of citrus pulp rather than the bitterness of the zest. And as it develops, the neroli is going to come in and giving a clean, musky feeling, kind of like the impression of a crisp white shirt. Which brings me to my next point. This perfume is a fantastic office fragrance. Truly, I have been wearing this fragrance with a crisp white shirt, and if I want to get things done in the day and I'm like in serious work mode, I will spritz this fragrance on and I will feel like super professional and polished and like ready to seize the day. And interestingly enough, it has a pop of blueberry, and I don't think I own any fragrances with blueberry in them. I like that, it's different and it adds like a nice little twist. So overall, this fragrance has like a watery, fresh and juicy side, and yeah, I would definitely recommend it to you. As far as the performance goes, Juliette Has A Gun is a little bit hit and miss. Some fragrances can last and others just are super fleeting and go after a few hours. This one lasted on my skin all day with a really good sillage as well. Like, I could smell my fragrance throughout the day, which is great because it smells fantastic. So for me, this is a 10 out of 10 new niche fragrance release. Also, I've received in the mail a parcel from Atelier Cologne, and I wanted to open up with you because it is a new fragrance that launched in October. And I wanted to give you my first impressions, so I thought we can open it up together. All right, so this is really big and heavy. I think this is like 4 kilos. Let's have a look together. Ooh! So we have a candle, we have, I don't know, this looks like a ceramic looking thing, and then the fragrance. There's also a, what looks like a drawer. Let's have a look. Let's open this up. Oh, wow. There you go, a little booklet with, I guess, information about the fragrance. This new perfume in question is called Encens Celeste, and I believe this is part of like a special collection, because I've seen other fragrances with the gold detailing and the dark blue bottle. This looks really nice. Wow. Beautiful detailing. This would look great on like a table to decorate. Yeah, love it. I'm gonna read to you the description of the fragrance so we can discover it together. Encens Celeste, a mindful and poetic blend of frankincense that pays tribute to this renowned ingredient known as the golden tears of God in the desert, that carries rich symbolism within the craft of high perfumery. So this is an incense dominant perfume, and as I said, I'm gonna give you my first impressions, so let me just spritz away. Yeah. Definitely dominant in incense for sure. There's a little bit of sweetness. Maybe some myrrh in here. It's like resinous, sweet, a little bit vanillic, and it's quite a light and airy incense, which I like. If you've been following me for a while, you know I'm not a huge fan of incense dominant perfumes, and that kind of note doesn't work well with my skin, unfortunately. So it can be very much hit or miss. So let's see how this perfume develops. Oh, now it's becoming quite spicy. Interesting. definitely an interesting scent. Let me go back to it at the end of the video and see what the dry down looks like. And perhaps the most requested fragrances for me to review ever since I posted a story on Instagram mentioning that I had received these. We have the 2 new Atelier des Arts fragrances. Look how gorgeous these bottles look. We have a pink bottle. It is called Pink Me Up. And then the second fragrance is Noir by Night, where you have this like dégradé of black color. It is so stunning. And both of these fragrances are part of a new collection called Les Frivolités, which is basically around the joie de vivre. And so yeah, I'm so excited about these fragrances. I find the packaging to be really, really stunning, but are they good perfumes? I'm gonna start off with Noir by Night, which is the one that I gravitated more towards between the two. And this one is more, I would say, of a unisex / masculine fragrance, as opposed to Pink Me Up, which I find to be much more feminine leaning / a feminine fragrance. So Noir by Night, oh, actually, also before I get into the perfumes themselves, each of these 2 perfumes have a special star ingredient and they've been extracted in a special way. So each of these fragrances celebrate a special ingredient. So if we start with Noir by Night, the special ingredient is caviar. And you're gonna ask me, how on earth did they include the scent of caviar in this perfume? Well, they've used Headspace, which is a technology that allows you to extract the molecules within caviar and kind of have an understanding as to what are the odorant molecules that create the smell of caviar. And so that is sent to the lab, recreated, and then added into this fragrance. You're gonna tell me this fragrance smells like caviar. What is going on? Truly, this is what my nostrils are telling me right now. Like, what is going on? Like caviar? For sure, I get a distinctive caviar note. It's salty and a little bit velvety and creamy. It's so interesting because it replicates the feeling of eating caviar. I've been very lucky to have had tried caviar in my life before. I don't know if I really like it, but it definitely was an experience eating it. As you pop the little caviar eggs, that's when you get like a sensation of creaminess and like velvety feeling in your mouth, and that is what this perfume replicates in the smell. So I find that to be so unusual, and the creaminess is going to enhance as the fragrance dries down on the skin. This fragrance feels bold, expensive, and luxurious. I would recommend wearing this if you have a special event, such as like a black tie maybe, because it's quite an elegant perfume and you'll definitely leave an unforgettable trail with this scent. Performance-wise, it lasts all day on my skin, easy 10 hours plus, with a strong projection, so you can really smell that sillage throughout the day. Now, what about the Pink Me Up fragrance? Is this the next Lune Féline? I don't think so. I'm not gonna lie, this perfume I wasn't drawn to as much as Noir by Night. It is a nice fragrance, and I think it's a great entry level into niche perfume and an entry level into Atelier des Arts, because Atelier des Arts has some beautiful fragrances, but some maybe can be a little bit more challenging than others. And so if you want like an entry level into the brand, this is a great one to go for. It is a dominant fruity fragrance with some rose, but the really cool ingredient in this perfume is champagne. So they've extracted the scent of champagne through Headspace technology and have included it in this fragrance. A very fizzy and effervescent perfume and happy scent. You know the feeling that you get if you drink champagne, you drink it and there's like lots of little tiny bubbles and it kind of like stings your tongue? The fizziness of those, that is what this perfume to me encapsulates. It is that effervescent, that fizzy, and that happy. It is for sure a fragrance for celebration. And if you're looking for an easygoing, feminine and girly, and also playful fragrance, this is one that I would recommend you go for. It almost smells like a kir, which is a champagne with some like blackberry liquor or something like that. I think that's what a kir is. Essentially, it has a berry note in this perfume blended with the fizziness of champagne, all wrapped up in some dewy rose centifolia petals. As far as the performance goes, it's not one that will last all day on the skin. On mine, it lasts 6 hours max, and the projection is soft, I would say. Soft to moderate, but it is on the softer side. I think that's a little bit of a shame. I wish it projected a little bit more and lasted longer. If you like fruity, floral fragrances that are like happy and joyful and easy to wear, that you can, you know, wear all 4 seasons, then this one may be for you. And that is it for today's video. Actually, let me just smell my hand again. The Encens Celeste from Atelier Cologne. It smells really good. It does smell really nice. The incense is there, but it's not an overpowering, smoky incense. I like the fact that on my skin, the resins and the vanillic side of the fragrance really comes out. I think it'll be really nice for an evening out in winter time. I wouldn't wear this in summer or in autumn. Like, it needs to be really freezing cold, I think. That's when I would prefer wearing it. So I enjoy this fragrance so far. Let's see how it goes. And with that, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below if you've tried any of these fragrances. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, spread the fragrant love.